The new season of Black Mirror dropped, and I think it's safe to say we're back.
We are back, baby. We are back. We're back. Classic. We are back.
I've had time to sit with each episode, and I watched them twice now, so now I want to share my thoughts on each one and how I felt about them as an overall concept.
Beware, spoilers are ahead, so proceed with caution and continue to watch if you want to chat more about Black Mirror Season 7. Season 7, Episode 1, Common People. In the first episode of Season 7, we meet Amanda and Mike, played by Rashida Jones and Chris O'Dowd. They have a pretty average life. Amanda is a school teacher and Mike works in construction, and they have a pretty loving marriage. Life gets turned upside down when a medical emergency leaves Amanda in a coma, pretty much brain dead. A medical rep named Gaynor, played by Tracy Ellis Ross, convinces Mike that a high-tech system named Rivermind is the perfect solution to give Amanda her life back. Now, the system essentially replaces the damaged portion of Amanda's brain, replacing it with synthetic tissue connected to a server that will make her brain function again. Of course, it's Black Mirror, and there's a catch. The procedure to get Amanda's brain connected to Rivermind is free, but to maintain the functionality, Mike and Amanda will have to pay a $300 subscription. The couple is barely getting by, but Mike is determined to make it work because he wants to save his wife's life. Of course, if you have any type of subscription service, you know the base plans are basically trash. And eventually you will need to upgrade to get better services. And that's basically what happens to Mike and Amanda throughout the duration of the episode. Things start to glitch with Amanda. She randomly spits out ads curated to the things that's happening around her. And the couple has to keep upgrading in order to maintain any sort of basic level of life for Amanda. It's ridiculous. But you know what? I absolutely love this episode. It was such a great commentary on subscription tiers and how outlandish they have become over the years with streaming services. And there was also a jab at poor healthcare systems. You shouldn't have to go broke or do demeaning things just to stay alive. The ending was bleak, but it was very much in tune with older episodes of Black Mirror. Now, it wasn't an exact bar for bar, but Common People reminded me of Nosedive from season 3 and how life is monetized. In Nosedive, popularity and social media shaped a livelihood, and in Common People, whatever subscription tier you could afford shaped it. And Rashida Jones co-wrote Nosedive, so it was very serendipitous for her to be in this episode that kind of had a similar vibe. Very, very strong opening to season 7. Season 7, episode 2, Bête Noire. Revenge is a dish best served in a Black Mirror cold reality. In Bête Noire, Sienna Kelly plays Maria, a confectionery whiz kid who becomes bothered when her former schoolmate, Verity, played by Rosie McEwen, shows up at her job as part of a focus group for a new product the company Maria works for is launching. Things seem innocent enough at first, but when Verity joins the company, Maria starts to notice odd happenings whenever Verity is around, like coworkers agreeing with anything Verity says. The episode takes place over the course of a week, and day by day, Maria is getting more upset by the things going on with Verity at work, and no one seems to think it's a big deal but her. When I first watched Bête Noire, I immediately thought of one of my favorite episodes from The X-Files. In season 3, episode 17, called Pusher, the character Robert Modell is able to convince people to do things he wants through the power of suggestion in his voice. So when I watched this episode, I immediately thought Verity was a pusher. But this is Black Mirror, so I knew some freaky twist was coming. So Maria was part of a rumor that ruined Verity's high school experience. Verity was a loner and kids bullied her, but she found solace in a teacher. A rumor started that something was going on between Verity and the teacher, and he ended up leaving the school. And that basically ended any happiness Verity had at school. So she started plotting. And because she was so good at computers, she created this technology where she was able to basically bend reality to her every desire. She was on the cover of Vogue, was an astronaut, had a picture with Harry Styles, but that wasn't enough. Verity wanted to use that tech to terrorize the people that victimize her, and Maria was next on the list. Verity was making Maria seem like she was unstable to the point where she almost believed she was. Like, I can never say nut allergy again without saying nutology. Like, that part gagged me. In the end, though, Maria was able to flip the script and get possession of that reality bending device. Wielding that level of power is dangerous because Lord knows I would be doing some selfish stuff with it. But with Verity, it goes to show you that no matter how many realities you change, pain will still be there unless you deal with your trauma. None of the accolades matter if you're still hurting. But this was a 10 out of 10 episode and definitely my number one of season 7. Season 7, episode 3, Hotel Reverie. I think it's safe to say a lot of us get lost in our favorite movies and TV shows, but what if you could actually place yourself inside them? In Hotel Reverie, Judith Keyworth, played by Harriet Walter, is struggling to revive her outdated movie studio. She can't afford A-list celebrities to appear in any film productions for the studio, and streaming services aren't interested in buying any of her old catalogs. Kimmy, played by Aquafina, approaches Judith with a high-tech program that she assures her will get an A-lister interested. Meanwhile, A-list movie star Brandy Friday, played by Issa Rae, is sick of getting supporting roles. It comes across her desk that they are remaking the classic British film noir Hotel Reverie that starred Dorothy Chambers as Clara, played by Emma Corrin. Brandy is very interested, but she wants to play the lead role, which was a male leading role. Keyworth Studios are excited to have someone like Brandy attached to the film, and they offer her the role. When Brandy gets the script, she's surprised at how quick the movie is going to start shooting, but she didn't read the fine print. With the help of a new technology called Redream, a person's subconscious can be uploaded into a film, and if the person knows their lines, all they have to do is recite them word for word, don't miss any beats in the film, and everything will progress as normal. This will save in costs of hiring crew, making sets, and all that goes into creating a film. Brandy wasn't aware of this and gets a bit of a shock when she's immersed into the world of Hotel Reverie. But she knows the script well enough that she's able to maneuver and adjust quickly. But things start to glitch when Brandy starts to interact with the film in a way that isn't scripted. So the production team, watching everything unfold, must quickly direct Brandy into making sure that the film ends the way it's supposed to, or Brandy will get stuck inside. Great concept with a solid cast. I would love to be immersed in Twilight or Parks and Recreation. Like, how fun would that be? Hotel Reverie gave me a mix of the Prime Video series Upload in regards to the technology used, and it also reminded me of the horror comedy The Final Girls. In that movie, the characters are stuck in a horror movie that they are familiar with, and they have to go along with the plot in order to survive. So Hotel Reverie already had me at the plot. I was very interested in this concept. Another big subplot in Hotel Reverie is the queer love story between Brandy's character and Clara. Many were drawing comparisons to San Junipero from season 3 of Black Mirror, but I didn't get that vibe. The only bad thing I have to say about this episode is that I didn't think Issa and Emma had any chemistry. Like, I think Emma had a convincing portrayal of a person from that time period she was from. And I think Issa did a good job being placed in that reality as someone not from that decade. But them together, I just didn't see the romance. But I did think the ending was sweet. Imagine if you made a connection, then could talk to one of your favorite deceased actors, and it seems so real. Hotel Reverie was another great episode. Season 7, Episode 4, Plaything. I'll start by saying Plaything is a grower. It definitely was for me. It's the shortest episode in the season, but I still found it impactful. In a near-future London, an eccentric man named Cameron, played by Peter Capaldi, is arrested under suspicion of murder. Once taken into custody, Cameron recounts events from his past to DCI Kano, played by James Nelson Joyce, and Jen Minter, played by Michelle Austin, who is sent in to evaluate Cameron's mental state. Much of the story is viewed through the lens of younger Cameron, played by Lewis Gribben, and that casting was spot on. In the 1990s, Cameron works for a company that plays and reviews video games. he gets a personal request from known games developer Colin Rittman, played by Will Poulter, to review an upcoming game of his. Now, Colin may be familiar to loyal Black Mirror watchers because he was a character that appeared in the Choose Your Own Adventure 2018 Bandersnatch episode, which I will say was so much fun and still blows my mind that was pulled off on the TV show. But let's get back to the episode. When Cameron meets Colin, he introduces him to a game, but not really a game, that is populated by these cute, evolving artificial life forms known as Throngs. Cameron asks how to play and what's the objective, and Colin tells him it isn't one, and he's just supposed to let them be. Cameron ends up stealing the game and becomes obsessed with caring for and growing the herd of Throngs. Watching this made me think of Tamagotchis. Playing with them was very much like the Throngs. You would feed them, bathe them, play with them, and I remember being sad if I neglected it for a day and find it dead. That was basically Cameron's goal, to help these creatures evolve. When he took mind-altering drugs, he was able to communicate with the Thronglets, and from my understanding, they were studying humanity through Cameron, and with each new gaming technology released through the years, the Throng was able to evolve and become stronger, and now they wanted to go beyond a digital space and interact with the real world. Older Cameron became their human liaison to facilitate the transition, and that's what happened at the end. The ending for me was Cameron welcoming the first Throng humanoid, but did that mean the end of human existence? I don't know. Maybe as we know it, but I think it was mentioned somewhere in the episode that these creatures were supposed to be evolved versions of humans, so like an invasion of the body snatchers vibe. Either way, I dug Plaything. I thought it was a good, solid episode. Season 7, Episode 5, Eulogy. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but in the Black Mirror universe, it's worth reliving a stamped moment in time. In Eulogy, Philip, played by Paul Giamatti, receives a phone call on the passing of a woman named Carol. Her daughter Kelly wanted Philip to know. The person who calls Philip is from a company called Eulogy who curates immersive memorials. Participants simply offer up a memory that will be used in the service. Philip receives a kit from Eulogy that comes with a guide disc that he places on his temple. All they have to do is think of the person, and the disc will bring the best memories forward. The guide, played by Patsy Fernan, aids Philip in this journey of recalling memories of Carol, but he can't seem to remember her. The guide assures him that photos can be helpful in triggering memory. With the help of Eulogy, Philip is able to submerge himself inside the images and relive that moment in time and walk around in that memory. As we dig deeper in the episode, we see Carol and Philip had a pretty substantial relationship that ended badly, and Philip chose to forget that time in his life. But as Philip and the guide dig deeper into the photographic past, it's clear the guide isn't who she appears to be, and miscommunication is the biggest killer of relationships. I have a lot of fond memories, especially from my years in undergrad, forever stamped in photographs, and I would do anything to relive those moments, if only for a minute. So that aspect of this episode deeply touched me. I also loved how the idea of someone else's memories can impact a loved one. Case in point, Philip remembering an original piece of music Carol played for him allowed her daughter to be able to play it at her mother's service. This is an example of those bittersweet Black Mirror episodes. It was really good. Season 7, Episode 6, USS Callister into Infinity. Season 7 of Black Mirror wraps up with a familiar story with the return of USS Callister from Season 4. It's very fitting that USS Callister kicked off Season 4 and now it's ending the current season. In USS Callister into Infinity, Robert Daly is dead and the surviving crew of the fleet led by Nanette Cole are stranded but are doing what they need to do to survive an infinite virtual universe. Krista Milioti, Jimmy Simpson, Billy Magnuson, Ozzy Achille, Malanka Brooks, Paul G. Raymond, and surprisingly, Jesse Plemons all reprised their roles from the 2017 episode, but noticeably missing was Michaela Cole. The episode explained what happened to her character, but I still wish she would have been in this one. I was very excited for a sequel to USS Callister. Season 4 was a perfect season, all hits. And USS Callister was in the top for me. Now, did this need a follow-up episode? No. A lot of the episodes end the way they're supposed to in my mind when it comes to Black Mirror. I've never been left wanting more. But since I enjoyed USS Callister so much, I didn't mind seeing what happened to the crew once they went through the wormhole update. With season 7 being such a strong one, I hate to say that the USS sequel ended up at the bottom half of my favorite episodes. I liked how some questions were answered, like how Robert Daly got that cloning device that trapped his coworkers in the first place, and if we really saw the end of Daly. I like the Ashley O callback from season 5 with one of the players singing her song, and all the Easter eggs, really. Black Mirror does a great job of creating this universe filled with ways on how the episodes intersect, and it's that once upon a time in Hollywood Leo meme when you notice it. As mentioned before, I loved the original USS Callister, but I felt the sequel was much of the same and didn't hit as hard as the first one. Given my choice between the two, I'd go with the original. That one was way more entertaining. Overall, I think Black Mirror Season 7 was superb. It definitely has rewatch factor and made up for 2 back-to-back lackluster seasons for me. But now I want to hear from you. What were the good, not so good, and moments from Black Mirror Season 7 you can't stop thinking about? Let's chat in the comments.